Pendant la grossesse, il était toujours agité dans le ventre, si bien que je ne parvenais même pas à dormir. Mais pour bagarrer, non. Il ne bagarrait jamais.
My dad didn't have a good reputation.
Was your dad a fighter?
Not like a professional fighter, but he was violent, fighting, beating my mom up, beating us up, and that's even how they get divorced. I was able to see the fear in the eye of my mom. One of my goals was to take that fear out of her.
Et il ne voulait jamais voir quelqu'un en train de taper sur l'eau.
Then we started to live in different family. I never feel as I belong to some family anymore.
And from that moment, I knew something. I don't want to become like my dad. I always feel like I missed my childhood. Like I was subject of shame to other kids. I'm gonna go to school and didn't have a pen to take note or a notebook to write on it. Sometimes no shoes or clothes.
And you couldn't tell them, we can't afford it. You didn't want to say it?
They knew.
One of the things that I read about you was that you worked in a sand mine when you were young.
I was about 10 years old when I started that because...
Quand Francis était à la carrière, c'est quand il revenait qu'on pouvait même payer quelque chose ici à la maison.
In this open cast mine, hundreds of artisanal miners are working in waters soiled by mercury without any protection. Among them, dozens of children, including girls, sometimes younger than 5.
Even though that work was meant for adults, but we didn't have any option, so we take what we had.
Growing up doing something like that, first of all, it had to be very difficult. Like
very
digging
difficult.
Sand.
Yeah.
It's also, your body must develop very strong from doing something like that. At 10 years old, like as you're growing, as you're maturing, doing something that's that difficult, I mean, it must have made you really fucking strong.
À lui seul, il remplaçait 2 ou 3 personnes.
I was always expecting somebody to come there and do something. I grew up with this expectation for many, many years, but it was clear that nobody is coming for me anymore. That was like my motivation to watch Mike Tyson on YouTube, because that's when I never watched a fight live, because I grew up in Africa and I didn't have a damn TV, nothing like that, you know. And I was watching it, I'm like, damn, I can do this.
No, you did what you don't know what you did. Know what you did? Your words were your destiny. You spoke out your reality. You said, I'm gonna do that. That's what happened to me. I was locked up in a juvenile detention center, and I was like, what, 12 or 11, I was locked up in a juvenile detention. And I'd be watching the movie The Greatest, and it was cool. And as soon as the lights came on, Muhammad Ali came in. And as soon as he came in, everybody lost. I mean, the staff, the guards, the police, everybody lost. And I said, I want to be like him. First thing I said, I want to be like him. I didn't know I was going to do it, but I said, I want to be like him.
The personality of a person, the ways of a person, the thoughts, the deeds, the actions, it's all based around his heart. For what is a man? A man is his heart.
I was a dreamer. I was very ambitious. People around thought I was going crazy. Like, what the hell? You are not for that class of life. You have to be like a farmer, like your dad, and you can't do it. I'm like, why? Why I can't do it? Who says it can change?
Regardless to man's title, regardless to man's wealth, rank, or position, if the heart is not great, then he cannot be great.
What the fuck is that? Who told you it's possible for you? Look at you. Look at where you came from.
But if the heart is great, that man remains great under all circumstances, rich or poor, large or small. So it is the heart that makes one large or small.
I just have to change the situation. I just have to be something else. I believe that I can make my own destiny.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
So why don't I be the guy coming for myself? A miracle won't happen right now. You have to take action. Before I left Cameroon, I went to see my mom. She didn't know why I was there for that long, but I was there because that was my last time before I leave. Then I'm like staring at my mom sometime, like maybe this might be the last time that I'm seeing her, but I have to do this. That's when I decided to leave.
So how'd you
I have
get there?
to use all the back doors. The Sahara Desert, and it's like one of the biggest over there. They just bring a small truck and put your baggage in it. You know, like Toyota Tacoma? Yes, it's gonna be like 25 of you guys in the back.
25 people in a Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, plus your luggage. So
Wow.
you are not allowed for a lot of luggage. Even water, you don't allowed for certain quantity of water because it takes space.
Oof.
And you are going to the desert and you have to grab the truck so hard so you get cramped. And then, but when you get cramped, you can't let him go, because if you let him go, you fall, and that's it. They won't stop. Let him go is like letting your life go. You know, it's over if I let him go. There is not second chance. I remember there was a girl with a baby. She couldn't do it anymore. She just wanted to throw a baby away.
Oh my
like
God.
this how hard it was. Like she couldn't do it, and you can't blame her. The guy just kept holding the baby to take the baby from her. Like
We can hear the agonizing wails of another woman and go to speak to her.
I heard you crying. I want to see my baby.
Her name is Olabisi. 2 of her 4 children, it seems, were on another truck. They are the older ones, ages just 9 and 11.
I can't believe that's my kid. I put to death.
and they have to hide from like radars, because sometimes they are like helicopter flying up there looking, checking if there's something going on, because they know that there is a lot of traffic there. Not only immigrant, but only like guns and drugs and everything. So they're always flying there. You have to be lucky so the car don't break up in the middle of the trip, because if the car break up in the middle of the trip, most of the time it's over.
What happens then?
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You guys might just die.
The migrants have been stranded here for 3 days after their truck broke down. There are about 30 in all, left to die.
At the daytime, it's like 150 degrees. Nighttime, he drops to like maybe 20 degrees. It's crazy. You're gonna cross a mafia and all those people across the road. You're gonna get robbed, every kind of shit. So you better don't have all your money on you. If you don't get killed. If you don't kill yourself by taking some risk.
One of the women starts praying under her breath.
Jesus.
A single sentence, over and over.
Even before the middle of the trip, the water is finished. Nobody has water anymore.
Oof.
And these people, they don't give a shit. They just want to drive from this point to this point. So you get dehydrated at the point that you're not sweating anymore. It's like oil on your face. At some point, we have like a dome of sand. So you have to rub your face and everything, because the sun is just like, you go through all this stuff. And we found a water well, and it was so dirty with dead animal in it, bird, everything. If I don't drink this water, I'm not lasting long.
So you drank it.
So you drink it. You kind of like take the water, put it in the bottle, leave your shirt, and use your shirt as a filter. Drink the water. That's where you kind of like start to understand what you put yourself into. It's just the beginning. Sometimes we live in the forest, hiding for the cops, trying to cross the border to go to Spain.
Before and in between attempts to cross over, migrants were groups in the forest surrounding those cities, where they face an entirely different kind of reality.
Get cold all the time, no clothes. At this point, it's a matter of surviving. And
Did you have food?
No, sometimes we have to go find food in the trash, sometimes arguing with rat in the trash, like, hey, get away of these tomatoes. It's mine.
Man.
This rotten tomatoes is mine, not yours, Go back in the forest, figure out how to cook that in the aluminum bucket or something.
The first way to get to the city is by climbing over the 11 miles fence that surrounds it.
About 11 miles of fence will protect The island is small. I went to the fence, look at the fence like this. Man, the barbed wire was just on it like this. There's my life behind them, my future.
Right.
Man, I am taking my chance. The first time I get caught, very caught, I was bleeding all over my hands, my feet, because I fell into it. I can't stay there. If those guys caught me there, they're probably gonna kill me.
How long were you in Morocco for?
1 year.
1 year?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because every time that you attend, if you fail, they're gonna bring you back in the south, in the desert, and throw you guys there.
Disorientated and dehydrated, these migrants have just been deported. The nearest village is a 15-kilometer walk in the Sahara Desert, and they have no food or water.
Instead of like thinking of going back to the fence, you're like, okay, let me go try in the water.
This young man's dream of a better life in Europe ended before it began. His body washed up on the shores of Ceuta, a Spanish enclave on Morocco's Mediterranean coast.
You guys have to collect money to buy a boat to ram, just a small one, the one that they use in the swimming pool. I count the wave like 1, 2, 3, because most of the time it's like 3 waves. And the third one would be the biggest one. The first one came, it was still okay. Second one, as much as we're going in the water, it get deeper and deeper. Then the third wave came, that was like something that you see in the movie.
No, just smashed you.
We fell in the water, no paddle. I hold my boat, I'm like, I trust myself, I trust my boat. This is my life, I'm not letting this go. I'm dying with it. I hold it like this. I saw this thing came. I'm like, put my head in the water, hold my boat like this, and it came, blew like, boom, on top of me, scream like, what the hell is this? When we get in the boat, we find out that there are 2 of us missing, basically those with the paddle. How do we gonna paddle without paddle?
Right.
The guy was like, listen, we're gonna paddle with our hands. I'm like, okay, this guy might be stupid or something. Like people die in the war, in the ocean, paddling with the real paddle, and we are just gonna paddle with our hands. How crazy is that? Man, for real? I'm gonna die just like this? My family don't even know. They won't even see my body, man.
when you got on that Red Cross boat and you knew?
I realized he was April 3rd, and I left Cameroon April 3rd, 1 year ago.
Wow.
1 year anniversary.
One long journey.
After considering going to England and Germany, Francis finally settles on France.
I just wanted a place with opportunity. France seems to have that opportunity. I told him, like, listen man, I just came here, I don't have money, I don't have nothing, but the only thing that I want is some place to keep training because I'm going to become a world champion.
Rapidement, j'ai compris qu'il y avait une précarité dans sa vie.
I was very happy at that time because even though I was sleeping in the parking lot, I was somewhere that I would have my fair share. If you need the faster income to help you get out in your situation, you have to do MMA. Then I'm like, what's MMA? Like, what is Jiu-Jitsu? Started explaining me everything. I'm like, hey man, please, leave me alone with your MMA.
Je ne me souviens pas d'avoir rencontré un mec aussi fort de manière oui. Oui. Oh. Oh. God damn it. Lâche-moi, j'aime bien. When was your first pro fight?
It was 4 months after
you started?
I started.
Wow.
So I won my first fight. Submission.
Like, you won by submission?
Yeah. It
what
was
did you
like,
use?
I don't know. There is not a name for that. Like.
Et donc, déclaré vainqueur par soumission et accède à la finale du tournoi des plus de 93 kilos, Monsieur Francis Ngannou.
Hold your breath, we're not turning back.
When you went into the Stipe fight, the first Stipe fight, how did you expect the fight to end? What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
You didn't know?
Yeah. All the way through that fight, nothing was right. Even
all the way in training?
Yeah. Even how I approached the fight.
UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world,
In 2018, after I lost against Stipe, man, I went back. I felt like shit. Couldn't sleep. Even when I went to sleep, I didn't want sun to rise the next day. I felt like I want the night just last forever. You know, I couldn't look at myself. Feel very bad at that moment. I just took my phone and then went online, booked a first plane for Cameroon. And guess what? When I went in Cameroon, the welcome that I had there, man, like, it was crazy. They were so excited, so happy, so proud.
I love that.
And at some point, I was still like feeling bad about myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, there was just like, hey, champ, welcome. And everybody was going crazy. Even grammars who doesn't know anything about fighting. And now I'm like, listen, guy, I think you might get something wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
I lost. I didn't win that fight. I'm like, we don't care. You won everything. Like
Francis, pour nous, c'est une légende, c'est un monument. Donc, tout ce qu'il fait en Europe, aux États-Unis, c'est gravé dans notre mémoire.
We never had somebody there. We never even expect somebody from us. We get there and you make it there. You represent us. You make us prize. Obviously, it didn't go your way, but you're still young and this.
Il a grandi ici et je suis là présentement. Je vais toujours l'accueillir ici, à la maison.
When I go back home, that's the place that allowed me to understand like how far I came, you know.
Do you think it's your destiny? Do you think it's your birthright, your destiny to
My
be?
friend, you have to make your destiny.
What memories stand out of your childhood in West Africa?
The memory for my child in Africa, it wasn't the best.
But I couldn't make it here today if it wasn't like that.
The future doesn't make sense without the past.
For what is a man? A man is his heart.